Hey guys, so what we're talking about here today is how to get started successfully with Olympic weightlifting. And this is an honest guide to building real positions, real habits, and a foundation that holds weight. Because everyone wants to know the same thing. How do I start Olympic weightlifting? And ultimately, it varies on so many different factors about where you're at as an athlete, what your experience level is at, what strength training you've done in the past, and where you expect to go and how much support you expect to have. But what doesn't change is the fact that you do need coaching, not just guesswork. It's not about learning tips and tricks off YouTube. It's not about picking up things on Instagram. It's not a whole bunch of different tutorials just stitched together and I'll figure out my positions as I go. It just can't be like that. It can't be just your local PT that knows how to deadlift, squat, and press that just shows you how to clean because they've done it a few times. What you actually need is an experienced coach that's walked the path and gone down the journey, that's had great coaching, that has a good eye for seeing the habits, the behaviors, the positions that are actually uh, affecting how well you move the bar. Now, I was blessed with a passion to learn and some of the best coaching in a mentor that I could imagine with Commonwealth Games medalist Philip Christou. He snatched 160 and clean and jerked 200 kilos on the floor that day. Now, that and many great coaches along the way helped me to snatch 102 kilos and clean and jerk 126 kilos, which I think is a really good level to be able to work with the general pop who haven't weightlifted before. And I spent 10 years working in this space, mastering this craft alongside gymnastics, calisthenics, and other things as well. So it wasn't like I just did 6 days a week of weightlifting for 10 years, but I did do 3 hours a week every week for 10 years. So if you're looking to have good results with weightlifting off 1 or 2 or 3 days a week and still be able to participate in other activities, other skills, other hobbies, then I can definitely say that I know what that path is like and I can support that really well. Technique in this sport is actually unforgiving, and the direction that you take early on shapes how everything else comes together. A good coach isn't optional, it's the foundation. Now, I've put together 4 steps or 4 pieces of the weightlifting puzzle that are really important. And before any of the actual weightlifting begins, a proper starting position is what is most important. Now, this is what does it look like to be in power position? Now, power position is just a dip, it's just your jumping position. You watch a basketballer, they don't squat all the way down to the ground to go up and do a slam dunk. It's actually a really reactive short dip. Now, the second position is the hang position. This is the barbell over the top of the knees and the shoulders forward of the knees as well, in front of the knees. And this is like part way up on a deadlift. And this is to help generate the most vertical path for the bar. And then the third position is how do we set up from the floor? Now, we want to make sure that people are good in these 3 positions because these are the 3 positions that need to be met before you do the explosive dynamic work of the clean and jerk or the snatch. Everything that happens from the explosion point is very, very fast. So the way you actually move the bar off the floor from the setup to the hang position and to power position is all about setting you up to jump explosively. You get any of those positions wrong, and it's absolute chaos. So, getting those 3 positions down pat, mentally, physically ingraining them in your being, sets you up really well to be able to practice these lifts on your own or practice them with a coach and add weight and have better success. The second thing is a mobility assessment is super important because if you don't have a decent front rack position, if you don't have an overhead clean grip or snatch grip, and you don't have the mobility to be able to do a full stick dislocate, then you can't get out of the bottom position of a snatch without losing a shoulder. Or you can't release the bar forwards and backwards. You can only release it forwards. And then the second thing is this, you need to be able to do a squat in the front rack and a squat from the overhead position. So we need to know that you're ankles, that your knees, that your hips, that your shoulders. We need to know where you're at in your thoracic, how everything is doing, have that mobility assessment, and then give you the mobility tools that actually help you to meet the positions for weightlifting. Because if you can't meet the positions, you become more unsafe. The stability that you have isn't as much as if you had best positioning, and you're just setting yourself up for a much harder time. So it's best if we can just deal with that right from the get-go. All right, the third thing is we need to know how to create tension and structure. So we need to use the accessory lifts, and the accessory lifts that would first start with are front squats, overhead squats, shoulder press, and push press. So this is about creating tension in our system in a dynamic way. So squatting with the bar on the front of the body, squatting with the bar overhead, pressing the bar from the shoulder to overhead, and pressing the bar with a dynamic leg drive, and making sure that we have a good connection, a good tension through the body, and good structural positions as we move. Then the fourth layer becomes movement from any setup position. So can I clean from the high hang or the power position? Can I clean from the hang position? Can I clean from the floor? It's also the coordination with quality with an empty bar. So can I clean with really good quality with an empty bar? And is it repeatable? Can I repeatably do it? If I can do it repeatably, really well, if I can do it repeatedly with an empty bar really well, and if I can do it repeatedly really well with an empty bar from the high hang or the power position, the hang position, and the floor, then I really set myself up well to have success when coach isn't there. Things can still go wrong. I can still need feedback. But that's the point at which I'd say to clients, okay, now it's time for you to start doing some of this practice on your own, particularly if you don't have a huge budget for like more focused training. Then how about you do the next two sessions on your own and send me videos? And then on the third session, we'll come together again and we'll tidy things up a little bit more. The reason why this matters is once someone actually meets that criteria, everything along the way gets easier. Programming becomes more straightforward because I trust that the athlete moves well. The feedback that I'm giving them about these positions lands and they can actually correct it. And then the coaching frequency can spread out because the actual movement quality exists. The actual foundation exists for good lifting. We waste less reps, we reinforce less bad patterns, and under load, we can have confidence in the actual body and structure that we have. So, just positive progress built from blood, sweat, and tears and hard work isn't going to cut it. It's actually building the foundations, building the key positions, and getting the constant feedback that's, knees a little forward, hips a little back, lean a little forward over the bar, come up a little slower, come up a little faster, elbows high and wide, lift your eyes a little, tuck your chin a little, squeeze the belly, etc. There's a million constant little adjustments that need to take place until the person can feel those things in their body. So coaching quality is really non-negotiable. And there's a clear hierarchy, and it's worth being blunt about. The best option is an excellent coach who's experienced in Olympic weightlifting as a coach, who's experienced in Olympic weightlifting as an athlete, has potentially also had certification and training in this area, or has just worked with some really elite coaches in the industry. And the best way to have this experience is face to face every single session. Hands down, that's the best experience. The second best experience is this exact same coach reviewing your lifts on video with a semi-frequent face-to-face session. Now, semi-frequent could be a weekly, could be fortnightly, could potentially be even out to monthly, but it's having this very excellent, capable coach to work with you and support you through video feedback on a regular basis with that consistent touch point. The worst option is a passionate coach who's inexperienced, or guesswork itself, where you're looking at videos on YouTube or things on Instagram, or asking your friend who's also doing it at the same time, or perhaps doing it in a facility where there's inexperienced coaches trying to teach you this thing because they think it's going to be engaging and fun. No, 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 not the way we do weightlifting. Enthusiasm doesn't replace experience. The quality of the eyes on your lifting is the single biggest variable. The experience, the wisdom, and the understanding of the positions that you're in, the alignment of the bar, and the ability to actually see that in a millisecond in someone's lift, because the bar is moving so fast and your body is moving so fast. You need an experienced eye to be able to see exactly what's going on in a millisecond, not just make it up, not just guess that because this happened or that happened, but actually know the reason why you jump forward is because of this. The reason why you jump back is because of this. The reason you lost the bar forward is because of this. The reason you're soft in the elbows is because of A, B, C. Okay. And being able to give you that instant feedback, that's the most valuable thing. The real starting point isn't the lifts, it's actually the body. Now, this is where most people get confused, is that they want to start weightlifting and they think they need to just start doing the coordination. But getting started isn't really just about learning how to clean and jerk and snatch. It's really about building a body that can access the positions. And this is why I talk so much about the movement assessment or the mobility assessment, because it's about developing athletic habits that are repeatable and reliable. And if your body isn't mobile enough to meet the positions of weightlifting, then that work has to be a huge part of the learning process. From there, you can refine the habits, you can adapt the program to the individual, and you can build strength work through the main accessory lifts, squats, pulls, muscle snatches, pressing work. The list is endless, but those tools are valuable for building a body that is capable of weightlifting. The main principle is that you can only build power on strength that already exists. So without the strength underneath you, you'll either break under the load or collapse into it. Now, people want to actually do weightlifting that haven't got any foundation of strength at all. If you haven't got any strength at all in deadlifting or squatting or shoulder pressing overhead, then you're probably going to find a 15 or 20 kilo barbell very, very heavy and hard to maneuver. And what we want to do is we want to actually prioritize building some strength first. Ideally, you can deadlift 50 kilos, you can squat 35 kilos, and you can shoulder press 25 kilos. That's going to mean that that 15-kilo bar, if it's slightly out of alignment, you have the muscle strength to be able to bring that bar or your body into a decent position. If you're looking to clean 100 kilos, it would be worthwhile having a front squat of 100 kilos for a couple of reps, because that means when that barbell is moving fast and you're having to receive it on your body dynamically, you have the strength, you have the familiarity, you have the ability to create the best structure to support that weight. So power is what you add on once the foundation can hold it. We start with the position, we build the strength, and then we chase the power. I hope that's all clear to you. This is the process that I take when people say, I want to start weightlifting. These are the considerations that I take into account. And if you'd like to consider working with me for weightlifting, then please DM me on Instagram or reach out in any of the ways that are available on offer from me, and perhaps we can start talking about the right process so that you can have the success on this journey that is safe, productive, and gets you to where you want to go with the least amount of wasted reps, wasted effort, frustration, and niggles. We can really have an enjoyable and powerful experience of weightlifting. Thank you.